In this lecture, we're going to look at positioners like row, column, and grid. We are going to try and use them and build the structure that we had in the last lecture using Anchors. Let's go to Qt Creator and do this. Here we are in Qt Creator, and we are going to create a new project. It's a Qt Quick application as usual. It's going to be called Positioners Demo, stored in the usual location. Hit Next. Choose the Qt version you have installed. We choose our kit and finish. Let's change the title here and call it Positioners Demo. And we need to put a rectangle inside because we need to do the same structure as we did before. ID is going to be container rect ID. Width is going to be 300. I think that's what it was. Height is going to be the same as width. Border is going to be black. And it's going to be centered in the parent. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this in the last lecture. Anchor center in parent is equivalent to setting the horizontal center and the vertical center. So it basically is the same as saying Anchor's horizontal center, parent, horizontal center, and Anchor's vertical center, parent, vertical center. Okay. Let's give it a color so that you see this working. I'm going to take it out after, so I'm going to give it a color of red. Let's run the application, and if all works, it should be in the center of this window here. Okay, it's in the center. And if you resize, it's going to work the same. Okay, to show you that it is equivalent, I'm going to comment this out and uncomment Anchor center in parent. And it's going to be the same. I wanted to make this point here. I'm sorry I didn't mention that in the Anchors lecture. Okay, so what we want to do is to put a grid component inside here. We want to specify the number of columns that we're going to have inside. I want to have 3. It is 4 columns by default. And if you want to know more about the grid component, you can come to the help here and type grid. It is this easy. And they're going to show you all you need to know about it. So what we want to do is to actually copy the rectangles that we did in the last lecture. I am going to open that project. You can go where you saved it. Let's go there, here. Okay, you can go where you saved it, open the file with whatever editor you see fit, and copy the rectangles inside the container rect ID here. So I have the project opened in Qt Creator, so no need to do it like that, but it is the same. I'm going to copy from here to here. Okay. Double check to make sure that it is the rectangles that you want. I'm going to copy them, come back to our project, and paste them inside. Of course, I'm going to have to do some modifications. Because we are using the grid positioning system, we don't need to do anchors ourselves, so I'm going to take them out. 1 is gone, 2 is gone, 3 is gone. Let's take all this garbage out. 4 is gone. This also should go. This also should go. Go. Okay, I'm just taking these anchors out. So we have 6 rectangles inside. Top left, top center, top right, center left, center center, center right, bottom left, bottom center, and bottom right. They are positioned in a green component, and the number of columns is 3. Why is it 4? I set it to 3. Okay. If we run the application, let's see what we get. Seems like I forgot some anchor here. Okay, and this is a good time to learn that you cannot specify anchors for items inside the grid. Grid will not work if you do that. Okay, we forgot this one. Let's double check again. And while I am here, I should take out this red color because I used it to show you these things here. Now you know it. There's no need. Let's run. We have our rectangles, but the center left rectangle is missing. What is happening here? It doesn't have a color, so we took it out. Let's make it beige. I love beige. Run again. And these are our elements positioned in a grid. I hope you can appreciate how simple the code became for these things. Okay, you basically put your rectangles inside, and the grid positioner takes care of positioning them for you in a grid. All you have to do is specify the number of columns here you want. Let's see what happens if you specify 2 columns. Run again. Okay, 2 columns. And you see that the system forces things to be laid out in 2 columns. Let's turn this back to 3. Run again. And boom, this is our thing here. Another thing I want you to see is that you can comment out the columns here and change the element to a row and have things displayed from left to right. This is it. Okay, 9 rectangles from left to right. You can also do the same in a vertical fashion. So you can do column to have them laid out from top to bottom. It is this easy, top to bottom. I don't think we have enough space to show all of this, but they are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 are not visible because we don't have enough vertical space. We centered this. Let's take out this center in parent thing so that it is aligned to the top of the parent. And you see our things here. Let's turn this back to the grid and specify our columns here. Another thing I want you to see is that you can specify the spacing between your elements. So you can say spacing 10, run again, and there is going to be a distance of 10 between your elements. You can also do row spacing to have your rows separated by a distance that you specify here. Row spacing, say 10. Let's do that. Okay, they are separated. You can do column spacing. Let's do 10 as well. The space is going to be between the columns, okay? And by now, I hope you see that specifying the spacing here is like specifying both the row and column spacing. It's going to be the same thing. Let's run. Same thing. Let's comment this out. Okay, so far we have only rectangles with colors, but I want to do something more interesting for now. I'm going to put an image inside this top left rectangle. So I'm going to say image. I'm going to give it a width of 50, a height of 50, and I need to specify the source image. Okay, I'm going to select the resources folder here, right click, add new, Qt resource file. I'm going to call it resources, hit next. We have worked with resources before, so this is not new to you. I want to add a prefix. Because I don't want to have any specific prefix, I'm going to take this out and hit enter. I am going to go where my main QML file is created, show in Explorer, right here. And I'm going to fall into the folder for our project here. I want to add an image folder. Let's call it images. And I am going to paste in an image that I have prepared on my drive. Let's come back to our project, add files to the resources file that we just created. Go in images, choose this LearnQt image and save. So I can come back to our QML file and say images learnqt.png. I need to anchor this image into its parent, which is top left rect. So I'm going to say anchors center in parent. Run again. And you see that our image is showing up in the top left rectangle here. Another thing I want you to see is that you can specify the alignment for the cells in your grid. Let me show you what I mean. If I take the size of this top left rectangle and turn it to 60 and run again, it's not going to fill the available width, so it's going to be aligned to the top left by default. You can control this alignment by using the properties on your grid, and one of them is horizontal, item, alignment, and you can specify different properties. You can say grid, align, bottom, horizontal center, left, right, top, or vertical center. For now, we want to do to the right. Let's run this. And you see that it is aligned to the right. You can try passing in other properties to see the effect of your things here. You can also do vertical, item, alignment. Let's do grid, align, vertical center. And you can see that it is in the center vertically. Before we wrap up this lecture, I want you to know that you can also do mirroring on your grid. The way you do that, you come to your grid here and say layout mirroring enabled, set this to true, and we want the children to inherit this property to have them mirrored correctly. So we're going to say layout mirroring, children inherit, and set this to true. And you can find all these properties by looking in the documentation. We have this selected, we hit F1. You're going to see all about this attached property. Let's run the application. And you can see that the order of things is reversed. This was to the left here, and it's to the right now. Okay, this covers all I had to say in this lecture. I hope you know how you can work with row, column, and grid. In the next lecture, we're going to look at a much more powerful positioning technique, that is layouts. I'll see you in the next lecture.